Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So to celebrate getting my Copics and because someone mentioned it in my live, I thought I'd make some cute little Christmas tags to get us into the Christmas spirit. So let's jump in. Alright, so I thought we'd start getting into the Christmas spirit a little bit here and make some Christmas tags. So in my live on Wednesday, which I'll link that video down below, you can go and check it out. This was one little tag that I made using the Say What Christmas critters from Lawn Fawn. So I thought I'd make a couple more to go along with him. And then I have an idea for a shaker card along with some of these. So I also wanted to do a little bit of Copic colouring for you. I'm just going to point out I am still not particularly good at this. So please don't hold it against me if I don't do a very good job. So I'm grabbing my Memento Tuxedo black ink, which is Copic friendly, which means I can colour in and it's not going to cause a problem. So for my little shaker tag, I want to use the box. So I'm going to grab the little box shape, and then I'm also going to stamp out, I'm just going to show you because I'm going to speed up the colouring a little bit. I'm going to use some of these little toys, and I'm also going to stamp out the two little elves. So I just want to sort of stamp everything first and then I'll colour along, but I thought I'd stamp quick. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp all this out. And then while I'm stamping, I'm actually just going to stamp out a couple of these little ones as well. So I'm just going to do the little animals. So there's a unicorn, a llama, a penguin, and a reindeer. And I think I'll do two. When I pull stamps out, I kind of like to do more than one. That way I kind of use a bit more. Like you have another animal ready to go for the next stamp if you want to. Next card, sorry, if you want to. And this is just Express It blending card. I've found that that's the easiest thing, or the best way to get my Copics to blend the way I want them to. So that kind of, it does help a lot. I think it's a cute little reindeer. Okay, got all my images stamped out. So then we're going to go ahead and start colouring these. So the box is pretty simple. I will try and remember to put all of the Copics I use their lids up. I'm, like I said, still learning this a little bit, but trying to remember to put the lids up as I do them. There we go. Already forgot. So I'm just doing it just a normal brown kind of box. And this is the sort of way that I've not learned, that's not the right word, but I've been colouring. So I put the light colour down first and then put the dark colour over the top and then blend with the light colour again. That seems to be working. So I'm just putting the dark around the back because that's where the shadow would be. And then we'll just blend that into the middle. And then for the bit at the back, because that just needs to be a little bit darker with the shadow, so I'm just putting the dark marker, which was E15, just in there, and then I'll just blend that out with a darker one and then go back to the E15. So this is E17. Then you can see it gives that a dark kind of shape. Dark kind of shade, not shape. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and colour these all in super fast. I will try and remember to put the lids down sort of next to me so you guys can see what they are. And I will be right back. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna put I was gonna put cheeks on my unicorn, but I don't know where the cheeks would go. So most of the time there, I've used pretty normal colours. I did use a lot of Copics, but overall that's actually come together basically exactly how I wanted it to. I'm just trying to find my white gel pen, which has temporarily run away from me. It's hiding in my pencil case. So I just want to add just a couple of little accents just to kind of finish it off. I really should have just had, I made them kind of look like dresses, and I didn't mean to, with the elves. That was not the intent, but it was kind of where it ended up going. I'm probably doing the highlights all wrong, but I like it. I think they look cool. I'm not going to put any highlights on the unicorn because the unicorn doesn't need any highlights. And then with the toys, I just tried to keep like a fairly similar-ish kind of colour pattern to all of them. So the only other thing I'm just going to add really quickly, on the box, there's this little stamp that says this side, it's got Santa mail. I'm going to have that instead. It's got a this side up, a Santa mail, and a North Pole. And I just want to put the little Santa mail stamp on here as well. I had to get the placement right so my head was in the way. Alright, so now we're going to cut all of these out. I'm going to do that super duper fast because really it's just die cutting. You guys have seen that before. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got all of my little bits all cut out. They look so cute. They really do. Now there is, with this little Holiday Helpers one, there is a little die bit that will cut this box so it looks like it's open. I don't like using it because to me it's just, I'm always scared I'm going to miss. So I just like to just cut it with my knife. It's just, I don't know, it feels a bit safer to me. So I'm just going to cut that through. I haven't decided yet if I'm actually going to use the fact that it's open, but we'll see. But just so you sort of get the idea, then you could put, for example, you could put the little penguin in the box. There we go. So he could be sitting in the box. Isn't that just the cutest? Alright, so now we're going to cut out some tag shapes. I'm going to cut all the shapes out first and fast. So I'm going to sort of cut to them. They're just the dies. These are the say what tags. So I'm going to go ahead and do those ones really, really fast. And then we'll put together the shaker and then assemble the cards and it'll be all done. Alright, so what I thought I'd do was rather than sort of make them, I'm going to do, well make them, I'd rather make them all and then show you. I'm just going to show you with one because then I'm going to do the same thing for all of the others and then we can move on to the shaker card. So in the say what, there's also this little speech bubble style kind of one. So what I'm going to do is cut that to about here. So I'm just going to stick that down with some washi. And what that's going to do is it's then going to give us this speech bubble shape that we can stick on there. So the little deer will actually say something. Or the penguin, one or the other. Just run that through quick. And then I'm also using that exact same piece. Just going to grab my stitched hillside borders. And I'm just going to use that to cut just a little hill here as well. And I'm just making sure that the stitching is down because I have this really bad habit of putting this stitching around the wrong way. So I'm going to show you with the reindeer because I want to use one of the deer sentiments, and then I'm going to go ahead and make them all and I'll come back and show you because they're all very, very similar. So we'll stick this one down here. So let's get my glue tape. Because we cut that out with the same die, that cute stitching detail is still there all around that. And the same thing with the stitched hillside. Now I stuck that in a little bit of glue dots there, but that's alright because I can just rub it off. And then the little deer, I'm going to put him up on a little bit of foam tape. Now I've also missed a little bit there, so I'm just going to grab my, what's it called, quickie glue pen. Just stick that corner down. Actually, before we stick him down, I'm going to grab the sentiment because the sentiments can be a little hard to stamp on here otherwise. So I'm going to get this little one here that says "You're such a dear," because we all know how much I love puns. I'm just going to make sure it's going to fit, which it is. It's going to fit there absolutely perfectly. And then we'll get our little deer and we'll put him just sitting there on the little hill, right in the middle. And there we have our little tag. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and do that a bunch of different times with a bunch of different papers and bits, and then we're going to do the shaker. So I'm nearly there, won't be much longer. Okay, so there are my 4 sort of really simple tags, and they do take a while just to cut everything out, but once you've got everything, and I've got this little box full of colours and stuff that I'm going to use when I make, like, not hundreds of these, but when I make a bunch of them. But they are really simple once you get going. You just got to sort of have everything ready to go. The fun one that I really wanted to try, so they're all the little Christmassy ones with our little say what ones. And I can put string on them, or you can just attach them, just sticking them down. But I really want to try doing this kind of shaker card kind of one. So I'm just having a quick look in my paper pad, and I want to use this bit. Now depending on, because I'm only sort of using a corner of this pad, I'm not going to pull it out. I'm just going to kind of cut this little, however big my background piece is. So just cut that out. I'm also going to grab, because for the front, I think I'll do something a little bit more bold. I'm just trying to think what I've got. I think I'll use this little bit here. Actually, I'll use some of this red one. So I'm going to cut the frame. So this is another bit out of the die, which I've now lost because I was moving everything around so much. I can't find it. So I'll cut one of these ones out of the frame. And then I'm also going to cut out a couple of the shapes from this fun foam. So this is just foam that you get from the craft shop, or you can get it from the kids section of Kmart. Sounds like a really weird place to get it, but it does. That's exactly where I got this from. So I'm going to cut out a couple of the frames from this as well, and that's going to make our shaker well. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got my little foam bits. Now I do 2 only because I just find this this particular foam does compress a lot when I put it through the die cutter, so it doesn't give me that really strong well that I want. So I'm just going to stick these together. I'm just going to use some mixed multimedia matte glue, only because just liquid glue seems to work a little bit better for this. So I'm just doing it with that and a paintbrush. I'm just going to splodge that on. Yes, that's a very technical crafty term, splodge. Splodge, splodge, splodge. I'm just trying not to get too much on the inside. We'll put a little bit of powder on here in a second anyway to kind of help with the shake and the non-sticky bit. So I'm just going to stick that together and then I'll just put an acrylic block on top for a sec just to kind of help that stick together. So then this is going to be our background. These cute little sprinkles. And this is our top frame. So this will sit over the top of this one. And we just need a little piece of acetate or plastic or something similar. So I'm just going to grab this little pocket bit that I've got. So I'm just going to cut that out, and then I'm just going to run it through the die cut machine. You don't have to run it through with the die. You can just leave it, like you can just cut it. Yeah, it needs to be the whole frame, doesn't it? Always have to think about these things. You don't have to cut it with the die. You can just use it, scissors, and just cut it out if you want to. I just find it's just that little bit easier. It's also a little bit easier if you know you cut the right size of acetate. That does help. I've been going for a really long time. I'm trying to go fast and I'm unfortunately messing up while I'm trying to go fast. Okay, so I've got my little bit of acetate. I'm going to use the multimedia mat to stick this down as well. No reason other than it's out, so you might as well. And then if you do happen to notice that there's a little bit of smushing, because I can see a little bit of smushing, because it'll dry matte anyway, so you don't have to stress too much about that. And then I'm just going to stick this one on the top. I'm just going to do this top one with glue tape just because it's a little bit easier. I'm just covering that completely. So I'm just going to give that a couple of seconds to kind of all glue together. Yeah, the acetate doesn't like that mixed media. Okay. So I'm just going to grab my glue tape and just use I'm going to grab a tissue. Just sort of wipe off some of that glue and use the glue dots instead because they are so much easier. Just with the acetate, you've got to push to get the dots to adhere because they don't naturally want to. They want to slide straight off the acetate. It's a horrible sandwich. There is something sort of sitting off the edge. You can just sort of trim it up with your scissors. So then to help me with my little well, I just want to make sure I put a bunch of powder all around the outside of my foam, and that's just to make sure, and that's coming apart. Okay, we're learning things. The multimedia glue does not work on foam. We're learning things. Sometimes it's just easier to stick with what you know works, and I know my glue dots will always work. It's not going to be the perfect shaker, but it'll work. So I'll put more of that powder around because I don't want there to be any stickiness in there at all. And then I'm going to put in, before I do that, I'm going to stick that little Santa mail on the top there. So I'm going to have the little elf sort of coming out of it. So she's going to sit on it like that. I'm just trying to decide if I want to put both of them in there. Because I was going to do like an extra tag, but I've kind of gone so long I don't really feel like that's a good idea. So I'm going to stick both of the little elves in the box, and then the toys are going to be what sprinkles around in there behind them. Put the little elf on that side and put the other little elf. So they are going to sit like off the tag, and that's okay because I think it looks really cool when they do kind of sit off. I'm just going to stick them like that. And I find the easiest way to do this is to just grab the quickie glue pen and just sort of stick that down while you've got them sitting in place, and that way they don't sort of wiggle around. And then I'm going to use my glue tape to put them actually on the front of the tag. Breaking my own cardinal rules here, and I've got glue dots on the front because I've been gluing without a mat underneath or protecting my surface. Thankfully the glue dots come off, so you just give them a bit of a rub. Alright, so we're going to put our little toys in the shaker well. Now when that's sort of, the idea of it is that when it's sitting upright, you won't notice that the toys are there, but then when you shake it, they'll obviously come up to the top. So I'll put glue tape all around the edges. And I was really careful then to just get that on the outside of that so it doesn't get in the way of the shake a bit. And then squish that down. We turn this over, you can see it looks like it's just a normal kind of thing, and then you shake it and the little toys come up. There they are, they're just hiding. But that's really cool, and it's kind of a cool thing that it's a bit of a surprise. Like, you wouldn't know it's there until you shake it, and then suddenly they're like, oh, they're all there. There you go. The more you shake them, the more loose they'll come. I don't know what that's getting stuck on actually. There you go. So there we go. I have 5 tags. Yes, that took a long time, but it was mostly the colouring and the die cutting that takes the time. Actually assembling the tags didn't take that long at all. So we've got our little shaker there with our little Santa mail. We've got our happy holidays, you're such a dear, Merry Christmas. And of course, if you're not really into the whole really Christmas thing, you can have this cute little unicorn. So they are my little Christmas tags. I'm going to be making a bunch of these, and I always like having a couple of extras left over because you can always use them on another card or another tag a little bit later on. If you want to see more videos like this, I'll try and get faster because I know this took a long time and try and be a bit more organized. But if you did like this one, please give it a thumbs up so I know you did, and I know I can keep making these kinds of videos. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything in future. Hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic weekend, and I will see you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye!